you know, how many of y'all out there grew up in a toxic ass family and now you're older trying to, live your life? You probably broke off, had kids, moved to another state because you didn't want you no longer wanted to be part of the fucking toxic ass family drama, inherit any of the fucking toxicity and all this bullshit. It was just negative all the time. So it's like, let me get the fuck out of here. Every time, family call is something negative. We don't see each other unless it's a funeral. We don't congratulate each other. We don't talk to each other. But whenever some bad come up, we come together and we talk about it. How many of y'all grew up in a family like that? I did. And I was the scapegoat as well. I was the one blamed for everything. I was the one who seen shit for what it was and called it out, and therefore I was a fucking problem. I had to go to therapy. I had to be on medications, and I was a fucking problem because I seen the shit for what it was. Now the irony and the funny thing about this shit is 10 years later, all the family members like, Chris, you was right. I'm like, I know. I mean, I ain't no fucking prophet or anything, but I know. But back then, I was a fucking crazy. I was locked in a fucking room. Picture got taken off the wall whenever people came over. I was like not even a stepchild. It was worse than that. But at the end of the day, I grew older and I no longer wanted to be part of that toxic ass environment. And a lot of people grow up only to fucking inherit all that toxic ass energy. And let's be real, man. Like, blood doesn't excuse bad behavior. I had a fucking cousin call the other day talking about how, she had got pregnant. And the dude, everyone pretty much told her that, they didn't like him, met him, didn't really care for him, and but she was into an age to where she felt like, she thought it would be a good idea to have a kid because, hey, you're not guaranteed a kid, or what if I don't have one? What if I have a miscarriage years later? What if blah, blah, blah? So it's like she was more on, like, if I can have a healthy kid now, I'll deal with the shit now and then, whatever. So she had the kid despite the baby daddy no one liked. And I would always ask her, like, well, what happens if, he don't want to be a part of it? Or, and she's like, well, I'm going to take care of him myself. As long as I bring a kid in here, I'm good. I mean, that's my new chapter of life where I could kind of, I'm like, okay, all right. See, I don't understand the whole motherhood shit. So when they start talking about motherhood, I'm like, all right, like, say no more. But as a guy, I'm just like, I know how niggas are, and I'm like, what if, so whatever. She had the kid a couple months later. And plus right now it's hard. The environment is hard right now. It's like, I feel like to bring a kid in this fucking earth and in this planet right now is a bad idea. It's too much shit going on, too many people struggling. So why bring in another fucking, generation and curse them with all the bullshit that's going on? Let me get out of poverty first. Let me be able to fucking work a job and get on top of my bills, and where I'm not relying on the government no more. But at the end of the day, it's like people don't think that shit through. And I was sitting there bringing this up, and she like, I don't really care about that. I'm like, all right. So years later, she having issues where they kind of get into a fucking domestic situation where they putting hands on each other. And I found this out later because I received a phone call from one of my relatives saying, like, you need to talk to such and such. And I'm like, now keep in mind, I used to be a toxic individual because that's what I grew up in. I used to love shit like that, like, oh, hoo, and then it's like that shit kind of got my blood rushing. But I'm at a point of peace, right? I don't give a fuck about none of that. I actually, emancipated from my fucking family mentally. I didn't do it legally, but I got to the point to where it's like I don't want to deal with all the negativity, so let me get the fuck away from here. And so I got to a point to where I was able to see what fucking peace felt like, and then only to receive phone calls from family members saying, oh, this happened, this person died. I don't give a fuck. That's why I got away from y'all. Why y'all calling me? I don't, it's like they want you to be fucking involved with the negativity. Again, I don't want to inherit any of this shit. I cut all this shit off. That's the reason I did, right? And blood doesn't excuse bad behavior. Being family doesn't give anyone the fucking right to drain your peace and disrespect your fucking boundaries. And that's what a lot of family members do. Especially these toxic ass family members. They will fucking disrespect your boundaries. They don't give a fuck. Show up at your crib, knocking on the door, don't even give you a notice. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, I don't care. Oh, I'm brother, I'm sis. I don't give a fuck. Don't show up to my house or to my... Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that don't happen anymore, but I remember that shit happened. I was... Listen, that shit pissed me off. But now we have boundaries and I'm good. But y'all gotta stop letting family fucking disrespect you. And just because they blood, don't fucking excuse bad behavior. If a fucking family member is doing bad, you don't have to be involved with that shit. Fuck that. You know? You have to break these generational ass fucking cycles, toxic cycles, and that start with fucking distance. You have to distance yourself from this shit. You don't have to carry pain that isn't yours to fucking heal. A lot of y'all carry pain from, you know, cousins or aunties or, you know, projections and fears and shit that they didn't get over. And now you got to deal with it because it's inherited. Like, fuck that. Let that shit go. Cut that shit off. All right? Protecting your peace is not betrayal. And that's why a lot of people can't do that. They can't fucking cut the family member off because they feel like they betraying them. It's called self-respect, okay? Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about yourself. And a lot of people don't care about themselves, especially when they get the fucking guilt of feeling like, damn, that's bro, that's sis. I gotta pick up the phone. I gotta show up. I gotta go. No, you don't. If a family member going through some shit that they put themselves in, they gotta deal with that shit. I don't want nothing to do with it. All right, too many family members motherfucking end up in relationships with a person and the whole family telling them like, yo, we don't know if they right for you. And then now they like, well, I'ma prove them wrong. And then now the nigga beating her. And then now they calling family members talking about, you need to show up. You need to go to talk. No, the fuck I don't. No, I don't. Because the way niggas are today, they will shoot. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say that. They will delete you over some shit that ain't got nothing to do with you. Now, I gave you my opinion. You clearly did not give a fuck. When I told you that this person wasn't good for you, that was my advice. Now you want me to show up fucking being reactive, not proactive, because when I was telling you, you didn't want to listen. But be reactive and now come over and nah, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not about to put my life in danger because I'm fucking your cousin or I'm your sister, I'm your brother. Fuck all that. You chose to, and this shit happens all the time. Stop picking shitty people to be with. Ah, that shit pissed me off. I don't want nothing to do with it. Now I'm about to go get my fucking head popped off my shoulder because I want to be a tough guy. And, man, leave her alone. Boom. Man, fuck all that. I got a life to live. And I love my life. You chose to be with this person. You are a fucking adult, okay? Family or not, energy is fucking energy. A lot of people don't understand this. If it's toxic, it is fucking toxic. You have the fucking right to step back and choose peace over chaos. You don't want to be part of this fucking chaotic ass situation where somebody always getting into it with another person or domestic abuse or, you know, Uncle Joe punched fucking Aunt Jeannie in their mouth because, fuck, they was drinking. Fuck, I don't care. Get the fuck back. Go move to another state. This is what I was telling my sister. Move to another state. Go start over. But if you going through this shit, let me know in the comments. Let me hear some of y'all stories. But it is okay to disconnect from toxic ass family members because you do not need to inherit their fucking drama. I love y'all. Have a blessed day.